We got to talk about Damian Lillard, man. Oh my goodness. I got to ask a serious, I mean, it's not a serious question. It's certainly like some, like some hyperbole in here. But I asked this question last night on Twitter, man. What planet is this dude from? Like, I'm telling you, I have watched a lot of basketball. I'm talking about decades upon decades upon decades of basketball on all levels. I'm talking about the NBA, international, college basketball, the WNBA, women's college basketball, high school basketball, elementary school basketball. I've coached that on that level. I'm telling you, I it's really difficult for me to quickly come up with a performance that trumped what Damian Lillard did on Tuesday night on the road against Denver. Now, it was in a losing effort, but 55 points, 12 threes, guys, 12 of them, 12 threes, 12 threes on 17 three-point attempts. So only missed 5 threes. 9 of 10 from the free throw line. He was 17 of 24 from the field otherwise. So he only missed 2 shots. There weren't threes. He had 6 rebounds, 10 assists, a steal, 3 blocks. 3 blocks and just 1 turnover. You get 55 points, 10 dimes, and 1 turnover, and you lose. It was just, oh my God, I don't know how to do. So here's the thing. I got to talk about a couple things. First and foremost, I would totally understand him being upset with Robert Covington in the locker room, maybe not visibly and in front of him and talking to him and confronting him, because it's not like Robert Covington didn't try. But I would understand him being upset with him. Blew two dunks in the game. The last one was the most egregious. A dime was dropped directly to him. And I felt like Robert Covington tried to put a little bit too much spice on the finish. At that point, at that time in the game, you going in with 2 hands for safety. You got to make sure that this ball goes down more than anything else. And then we're talking about double overtime. Man, maybe you don't have all your legs. Robert Covington played 44 minutes last night. So all of that, taking under consideration, why are you tomahawking it down? And I understand you're 6'8", you're an elite athlete. You can probably do that dunk 10 out of 11 times, but it just so happens the 11th time came on Tuesday night in double overtime on the road in a game that y'all really, really needed to have, and in the game where your star had 55 points. Really kind of is hard to excuse missing that dunk in that situation. To a lesser degree, but maybe some people might say even to a more to blame is C.J. McCollum, 7 for 22 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. So he did play well. And Covington had 19 points and 11 rebounds. We gotta mention that. And McCollum had a steal and 2 blocks. And I will give McCollum this. He stayed aggressive, right? And so the shots just weren't falling. And you're gonna have nights like that. But they left Dame out there on an island by himself, and he ultimately ended up drowning. That's what it was. I mean, you got to give a shout out to Norman Powell, played 51 minutes last night. McCollum played 51 minutes too. But one person who I was a little surprised at was Carmelo Anthony. There was a specific instance in this game. I believe it was in the double overtime. The ball swung to Carmelo. There was a closeout on the jump shot. He took a step in, and I was almost positive he's going to pull this 17, 18-foot jump shot or attack the basket, try to get to the rim or get fouled. Instead, he took a dribble in and, surprisingly to me, kicked the ball to Norman Powell in the corner. It wasn't even all that of an accurate pass, and Norman Powell ended up getting a poor corner three-point attempt up. And it was a really key part of the game. And I don't think I would ever in my life say that Carmelo Anthony passed up a shot he should have took. I didn't think those words would ever come out of my mouth. But that's what happened. And I love Melo, but I think that if you asked Melo even 5 seconds or 10, 15 seconds after that, he probably would have said, I should have took that shot. I should have took that shot. He probably would have, because that's never an issue for him. But we just got to talk about some of the threes, man, that Lillard just I couldn't. It was like, I'm telling you, watching him drain all of these clutch three after clutch three after clutch three was like, it was more than it. Like some people say, it was video game. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I play a ton of 2K. If somebody made that many threes on me in the situations in which he made them, we talking about some of these contests. I'm looking at them right now. I wish I could show you guys the highlights, but I'm looking at some of it right now. Some of these contests from Michael Porter, these are 67, 78, 80% contested threes, or at least 55, 60% contested threes. The one where he did the spin back, that one was close to smothered, and then the one he banks off the glass, that's when you just know it's one of those days. That one's definitely smothered. It was insane. I can't, I don't even know what to say. So I had to think about it. I was like, okay, well, where does this rank, right, amongst the all-time best single game individual postseason performances? Now, we saw one recently that was really big. Luka Doncic last year in the bubble hit a game winner against the Clippers. He had 43 points, 17 rebounds, 13 assists in the game. Playoff buzzer beater. They won the game. And so you here's the thing. I feel like it's difficult to compare a great individual performance when a guy's team lost, comparing it to when the guy's team won, because the player who was able to lead his team to victory is going to always seemingly have the advantage because the primary goal was accomplished. So I don't think that's a necessarily fair comparison. So let's only do this for games where guys lost, right? Because Lillard and the Blazers lost last night. So if you eliminate all of that stuff, the only other game that I could think of that is in this category, right, is Michael Jordan's 63-point performance in 85-86 against the Boston Celtics. That's the only one, because the Bulls lost that game. Mike went for 63, set a single-game playoff record in the game. He broke Elgin Baylor's record. Elgin Baylor had scored 61 in a playoff loss. Rest in peace to Elgin Baylor. But that's the only other playoff performance in a losing effort that I could think of that comes up to that. Now, I know Donovan Mitchell, I believe, had 57 points in a playoff loss. I saw that game. It didn't feel like this game. The number of big shots that Damian, because all 50-point games are not created equal. And sometimes a 55-point game can be more impacting than a 57-point game. And I think this is a situation where that's the case. Damian Lillard last night, what he did was something that is from another planet. And I am rarely, with as much sports as I've watched and have consumed over multiple decades, I am rarely left speechless by somebody's performance. And I was looking at Junior last night while this game was on, and while Damian Lillard was literally crafting a masterpiece. And I just kept looking at my son like, what is happening here? Like, what is really going on? And I don't get it. And it's a joy to still be able to watch athletes and people perform, and they make you have that look like, what is this? This is not what I've normed. This is not what I'm used to seeing. So definitely shout out to Damian Lillard. I hated to see him lose that game just because I felt like he earned it so much with the great performance.